The sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows across the tarmac. The seagulls circled lazily overhead as a small crowd gathered on the edge of the airport. It was 1937, and the world watched with bated breath for news from the skies. Amelia Earhart had taken off earlier that day, her spirit unbroken by the challenges she faced. She was determined to become the first woman to fly solo across the Pacific Ocean. Her plane, the Lockheed Electra, was a sleek, silver bird poised on the runway. The engine rumbled as if speaking in hushed tones of its imminent journey. As the crowd milled about with cameras and binoculars at the ready, one could almost hear the silent prayers and wishes being whispered, "Safe travels." But it wasn't long before those whispers turned to silence, then alarm. Communication lines were cut off after Earhart's plane disappeared into the vast expanse of the South Pacific. Over the weeks that followed, hope began to dim like a fading star in the night sky. Search teams scoured the ocean and islands, but all they found was nothing more than a few pieces of debris washing ashore. The world was left with questions. Where did Amelia Earhart go? What happened after she vanished? The mystery only grew deeper as time passed. Photographs from the era showed her last known position, near Howland Island in the Pacific, far from any land or navigation aids. Her plane's radio equipment failed at just that moment, cutting off communication with the ground crew. Speculation and theories multiplied like whispers on a cold night. Some said she had been captured by Japanese forces, others believed she may have survived as a castaway, living out her days on some distant island. The truth remained elusive, like a ghost haunting the edges of memory. As years turned into decades, the search for Amelia Earhart's fate continued. Every new lead brought fresh intrigue and renewed hope. Amelia Earhart stands as a beacon in the history of aviation. Her name evokes images of courage, pioneering spirit, and ambition, qualities that were not only common among women but also uniquely embodied by this extraordinary individual. Born in 1897 to an active father who encouraged her adventurous nature, Amelia grew up with tales of exploration and adventure. By the time she was a teenager, Amelia had already begun flying lessons at age 23. She quickly fell in love with aviation, seeing it as more than just a hobby. It became her passion, her vocation, and even her life's mission. In 1928, Amelia Earhart made history by becoming the first female aviator to cross the Atlantic Ocean alongside two male pilots. This event catapulted her into public consciousness, earning her recognition and admiration worldwide. However, as we delve deeper into her story, a sense of mystery begins to emerge. After setting records for women in aviation and garnering national acclaim, Amelia Earhart vanished without trace during an attempt to circumnavigate the globe in 1937. Her disappearance remains one of the most enduring mysteries of the 20th century. Her last known flight began on June 1, 1937, as she and her navigator Fred Noonan set off from Miami en route to South America, then on to Africa and Asia before returning home. Their journey was ambitious but fraught with challenges. They faced adverse weather conditions, communication difficulties, and navigational errors that led them far off course. On July 2, Amelia Earhart's plane vanished over the Pacific Ocean near Howland Island. Despite extensive search efforts by multiple nations, no trace of either her aircraft or body has ever been found. Theories range from her crashing into the ocean to being captured and held hostage in Japan. Others suggest she may have survived as a castaway on an uncharted island. Despite these theories and countless searches over the decades, the truth behind Amelia Earhart in the early hours of July 2, 1937, Amelia Earhart stepped aboard her Lockheed Electra at Lae Airport in New Guinea. She was about to embark on a journey that would make history but also ignite a mystery that has puzzled generations for nearly 9 decades. Amelia had already achieved so much by then. She was the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean and became an international symbol of female achievement. Her next goal was ambitious, to circumnavigate the globe as part of her world flight expedition. The route took her over the vast, uncharted expanses of the Pacific Ocean, a body of water that stretches beyond our eyesight. As she prepared for takeoff from Lae Airport, Amelia and her navigator Fred Noonan were confident in their plans. They had meticulously charted their course, which would lead them to Howland Island, just 300 miles away. This island was the halfway point between New Guinea and Hawaii, a critical leg of their journey. The morning sky was clear when they took off on July 2nd. The plane climbed gracefully into the early sunlight as Amelia navigated by radio contact with officials at Oakland Naval Air Station in California, who were monitoring her progress. At around noon, she turned toward Howland Island and began to communicate with the U.S. Coast Guard cutter Itasca, which was stationed there. For several hours, communication seemed normal. Then, just before 5 p.m., Amelia's voice grew fainter on the radio. The Itasca crew strained to hear her messages over the static, trying desperately to maintain contact as night began to fall. By p.m., all attempts at communication ceased. The Itasca and other nearby ships frantically searched for any sign of Earhart and Noonan, but they found nothing. Days turned into weeks without a trace of their plane or the two intrepid explorers. The mystery deepened as each passing year brought no news as we delved deeper into the mysterious disappearance of Amelia Earhart. Our investigation takes us to a place where mystery meets history. The story begins on July 2, 1937, when Amelia Earhart set off from Lae, New Guinea, with her navigator Fred Noonan, aiming for Howland Island in the Pacific Ocean. The journey was ambitious and fraught with challenges. Howland is tiny, a mere speck of land about 6 miles long by 2 wide, making navigation difficult even under ideal conditions. The weather that day promised to be less than perfect, as heavy clouds often obstructed visibility, creating a perilous environment for flight. Earhart's radio communications provide a tantalizing glimpse into the challenges they faced. According to her last known message, she was struggling with low cloud cover and poor visibility. She mentioned seeing Howland Island through a break in the clouds, but it wasn't enough to guide them accurately toward their destination. The U.S. Coast Guard cutter Itasca, stationed near Howland, tried to communicate with Earhart via radio, but attempts were sporadic due to Earhart's uncertain position. By a.m., Amelia had transmitted her final known message: "We are running on a line north and southwest of Howland." This was the last clear signal from the brave aviator. As the minutes ticked by, hope began to fade among those waiting for their hero's return. The Itasca crew received no further signals. They circled the area in search of any sign of Earhart's aircraft but found nothing. The radio silence lasted until a.m. when it was officially declared that contact with Amelia had been lost. The world, and particularly those who knew her best, were left reeling from this sudden disappearance. Amelia's last moments are shrouded in mystery. It is believed she circled the island to look for a suitable landing spot but failed to find one due to the mysterious disappearance of Amelia Earhart continues to captivate the world, not just as a story of adventure but also as a puzzle waiting for its final pieces. Her vanishing has had far-reaching real-world implications that extend beyond the boundaries of aviation history. Firstly, let's consider how Amelia Earhart's fate has shaped our understanding of women in leadership and exploration. Even today, her disappearance serves as a poignant reminder of the challenges faced by female pioneers who dared to break through traditional barriers. Her absence from public life, despite being one of the most celebrated female pilots of her time, is a stark example of how society often marginalizes trailblazers once they step outside conventional roles. The case also highlights issues in navigation and communication technologies that were not yet fully developed or reliable during Earhart's era. The technology available at the time could only provide limited assistance to aviators like Amelia, leaving them vulnerable to navigational errors and unexpected weather conditions. This scenario underscores the importance of robust technological support for modern-day adventurers and explorers. Moreover, the disappearance of such a prominent figure has had significant implications on national pride and international relations. Earhart's flight was funded by the United States government and supported by various American businesses. Her sudden vanishing without explanation created a diplomatic crisis that strained relationships between nations, particularly during times when global politics were already tense. The uncertainty surrounding her fate also fueled speculation about potential political motivations or covert operations. The search for Amelia Earhart has not only been an exercise in historical research but also an embodiment of human resilience and determination. Throughout the years, countless expeditions have been launched to find evidence that could explain what happened to her. These efforts have involved a variety of methods, from deep-sea exploration using advanced sonar technology to ground-based searches with high-tech drones, all aimed at uncovering new leads. The mystery surrounding Earhart's disappearance has inspired generations of young people, particularly girls and women, who see in her story not just an adventure but also a testament. As the sun sets on another day, casting long shadows over the unmarked graves in Honiers British Cemetery, we are left to ponder the enduring mystery of Amelia Earhart. Her final moments remain as elusive as they were when she vanished into thin air off the coast of Papua New Guinea. Amelia was more than just a pioneer aviator, she embodied an era's spirit and dreams. She soared beyond gender boundaries with her record-breaking solo flights, inspiring millions around the world to reach for their own aspirations. Yet on that fateful day in 1937, as her Lockheed Electra disappeared into the vast Pacific, it was not just a personal tragedy but a global one. Theories have multiplied like weeds after rain: crashing ships, friendly rescue aircraft, even alien abductions. Each hypothesis offers a different explanation for what happened to Amelia and Fred Noonan on that final leg of their globe-circling journey. Yet none can fully explain the eerie silence that followed in its wake. We stand at the edge of an uncharted wilderness, where facts mingle with fiction. The truth about Amelia Earhart lies somewhere between these two realms, a place we dare not tread but must explore if only to understand our own quest for adventure and discovery. Her disappearance is a mirror reflecting back on us, challenging us to ask, are we brave enough to face the unknown? Do we have what it takes to persevere when all seems lost? In her final moments, Amelia likely felt both fear and determination. She knew she was pushing boundaries, risking everything for the sake of knowledge and progress. Her courage serves as a beacon, guiding us through life's uncertainties. Today, as we continue searching for answers, we must also remember that sometimes mysteries are not meant to be solved entirely. They serve another purpose, to remind us of our own limitations and the vastness of what remains unexplored. In the end, perhaps Amelia Earhart is not just a symbol of aviation history but some truths hide in shadows. Subscribe to uncover them.